So good morning, everyone. My name is Levent Aktay. So it's really a great honor for me to be here and to share my experiences, my learnings with you. So I am not an expert on the topic innovation, but I think I see enough, and I want to share with you my learnings. So today's name of our presentation is Innovation for Success. There are many presentations about it, but I want to go one step ahead, and I want to say what we should do to reach this innovation. And for it, we should think big, but act small. So I'm working in Geely Commercial Vehicles, and let's start. So my name is Levent Aktay. My Chinese name is Levent Aktay. It's very similar to my original name. So I was born in Turkey. I'm living approximately 23 years out of Turkey. So I'm actually very international. And I'm working overall more than 20 years in different R&D organizations. So I'm in China for 6 years. First 4.5 years I was in Beijing, and 1.5 years I'm in Hangzhou. And as I mentioned before, I'm working in the Geely Commercial Vehicles. Actually, Geely is well known with its cars, but also in Hangzhou, there is an R&D center for the commercial vehicles, and many new things, many innovating things are about to come. Therefore, I would like to follow what's happening in the Geely Commercial Vehicles. So the hobbies, I would like to play basketball and try to cycling to roam around in Hangzhou and find some new corners. And I'm trying to learn bamboo flute, Chinese bamboo flute dizi. I am not so good at. I would like to read always about innovation and history of innovation and history. So in these presentations, actually, you see the history and innovation. History, we always think about the old. Innovation, we think always about the new. But actually, these are linked to each other. I am Turkish, so I can speak Turkish. And beside this, I can speak English, German, Portuguese. And the level is far ahead, but still didn't give up. I want to still continue with learning Chinese. So the golden rules of the seminar is a Chinese idiom. Perhaps you know. The teachers open the door, but you must enter by yourself. So don't expect that today you will get this information, go out, and you are the biggest innovator. I'm just showing the way. The second one is, perhaps you can guess. So I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, and I understood. So therefore, today can be the starting day of your innovative way of thinking. You can get some notes, and then you can say, when I go out of this room, I will try to execute. So our seminar today consists of 4 parts: introduction to innovation, innovation as key to success, and think big, act small. And then all of you will have a homework today. You will be an innovator, and then you will have some duties. So in this presentation, the 2 little guys will help us. One of them is our guy who likes innovation. He's an innovation lover. He says, I love innovation. And there is always a skeptical one. And I think these skeptical ones are always you are finding in your working environment, in your friendship groups. So he's innovation hater. He hates innovation. He wants to go with the straightforward, the old methods. So now part 1. Let's start with the introduction of innovation. What does innovation mean? So innovation can refer to something new, can be an invention, can be a practice of doing, and can be introducing new things. So actually, when you look at the innovations explanation, you see many times the word new. So, but the new is not enough actually. So, because some people think that new means risks, new means lose of time. I'm still doing old school. New means so much work, new means change, and he hates everything, he doesn't want to make it. But we still challenge him with another word, because the innovation actually comes from the word innovatus, and innovatus means renew or change something. So he said new was bad enough, now comes change, everything is worse for him. So now let's continue. I like idiom, I like quotes. So Steve Jobs said, for example, innovation is the ability to see the change as an opportunity, not a threat. So Steve Jobs, from his nature, he always wants to look at forward. He doesn't want to actually see this thing as a threat. And Thomas Edison, he failed over 2,000 times, but he never gave up. So he said the continued innovation is the best way to beat the competition. So I think he's the best example to not to give up and always push until the end. And he says, because two people said something about innovation and about good things, it doesn't mean that this is something good, so he's still skeptical. But I'm sure we will try to convince him. We will convince him. So he says, I still hate innovation. I simply ignore it. So he's still with his old tool and trying to catch fish and his daily food. So when you go to internet, when you go to the browsers, when you write innovation, and if you click on the picture, you see many of such pictures. When I started to learn about innovation, I thought there is actually one certain definition, and I could study these terms, and I can learn more about. But when you look at actually, all of them are different. So one of them is saying, for example, concept, the other says sales, the one said education, the other say design. So then I understood, actually innovation has not a certain definition. So not like I check like a shopping list, I do this, I do this, I do this, and I'm innovation. This is not the thing. So actually innovation has many elements and many definitions. Sorry. So for example, Apple, I myself, I don't use iPhone, but I'm impressed actually with as a company and as a brand what they managed. For example, when you see they started from a computer, so they follow up actually with the computer, but later they also introduced different kind of products. Like for example, they introduced the iPod, then iPad, iPhone, there are many products. So when you look at this, for example, I created myself as a user of another brand. So for example, they are really setting benchmarks. Their design is really impressing the people, and they always bring something new and something new function. And the products are emotional. I think I didn't see any brand that people are carrying their stickers on the backside of their cars. This is really amazing for me. I am not using iPhone, but this really should be something emotional there. And the second thing is the faster. People are saying, for example, my mobile phone is very fast because I'm using iPhone. And user-friendly, so actually there is not so much complicated. So many people can use it. I am sure none of you, when you buy a mobile phone, reading the instruction manual, learning by doing. So it means this is actually user-friendly, so you can start to use it directly. And the thing is different. I will not go to each of them, but they are different. They are attractive, and they are competitors. So they are actually a very strong company. So therefore, from many products, actually you can make the innovations definition by yourself. So for example, this is the product that we are currently working on, and this is the reason why I came to Hangzhou. This is a truck, for example, truck is a competitor to Tesla. So this is an autonomous truck with electrical. And when we look at, for example, here, actually we are talking about the product. So we create a product which is innovative for the truck drivers or the fleet owners. But at the same time, for example, Geely has another company, it's called G-Space. And G-Space is currently working on the satellites. Satellites are actually enabling us to use the autonomous drive. So therefore, when I take this explanation, I can buy this, but I think none of us will be able to buy this. But we can use the service of this one by this product. So therefore, we always think about, I will invent something, it will be very innovative, I will sell this thing to everyone. So we always thinking about the product, but actually product is actually not the correct concept. You can have a service. So innovation shouldn't be always a product. If it is a product, of course, much more successful, but can be also a service. And as I told before, I love history, and history we always think about as the old stuff. But in the history, actually, there are many, many, many innovations. And since I'm from Turkey, and this story took place in Turkey, I would like to introduce this thing shortly. So the city of Troy, the movie that Brad Pitt was acting, it was considered as like unconquerable, that nobody can enter this city. It's very safe, and they were thinking that we are the safest city or safest civilization overall. But then the Greeks had an idea. They said, we have an idea. I think we can enter this area very easily. So this is not the original one. This is from the movie. So they just build a horse. And there is a replica. This is the replica. You can also, when you go to Turkey, you can enter inside. So what they said is, because we have a very good relations with you, and we don't want to actually fight, but we just want to improve our status of peace. Therefore, we would like to give this thing to you as a present. And they were very glad, and they accepted it. And at night, inside there were many, many soldiers. So these soldiers just went out, and they conquered the city. So as I told you before, like, this is an innovation. This is an innovative way of conquering a city. And this is from the history. So it doesn't mean that now when one country wants to conquer another country should use this thing, but it shows actually how old the idea of innovation. And in history, there are many, many innovations, and especially in China, there are many, many, many innovations. Therefore, sometimes good to read the history books to understand the mindset of these people and come back to today. So now, the key to success. So how the innovation and success are linked. So sometimes I was thinking, okay, when I find something innovative, I can be very successful. I can be considered as a successful. But what happened, for example, if I have an existing company, I myself is not a startup owner. But what happens, for example, when I'm in my daily work, if I neglect the innovation. So there are some examples. For example, neglect innovation, he says, I like it because I don't want any innovation. And he said, innovation is actually nice to have. Why should I have innovation? But then we will give two examples here, Nokia and Kodak. They were also thinking the same. So when I'm talking about Nokia, some of my friends from Nokia is getting angry with me. I'm just talking about the mobile phone era of Nokia. So Nokia has already a center in Hangzhou, and I have some friends there. So I don't want to make them angry. So we'll just talk about the mobile phone side. So I had this one. Perhaps I am older than you. And they were coming with the connecting people. So this is actually very, very, very impressive slogan. And the second thing is the Kodak film. So in my life, I used these products. So Nokia was actually a successful company. They introduced the first mobile phone. And then can you imagine, even in the Forbes magazine, that they were saying 1 billion customers, can anyone catch the cell phone king? So even the magazine, even the expert in this area, they will think of this is impossible to catch anymore. You know, they will just go through the all the way, and now they won the competitors. But this is actually not the case. And what happened? But Nokia sticked so much onto this product. So they stick to this product, and even, you know, their product was very, very, very durable. Here, for example, says fall to the floor, breaks the floor, but when this thing falls to the floor, this breaks the screen. So can you imagine, like, also as a function and as a structure also, they were very, very leading company. But what they did actually wrong is, because they were first, they stick to this product, and they said, actually, nobody can catch us. You know, we are enough, we can just continue. And the head of Nokia said, we didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost. So they didn't understand actually what happened, because that time innovation was not a big word to speak. So when we talk about actually what they did is mistake, that they were self-satisfied. So actually they were not humble, and they were going forward in the wrong direction. So they were following so much this one. But actually they could think of doing something like this, because that time some products were coming to the market, and they could say, we do this, but at the same time we can also do this. So therefore they went to wrong direction of trend. And the second thing is wrong partnership. So when I read in the internet, actually many companies were trying to build a partnership with Nokia, but Nokia was saying, like, you are such a small company, what can I learn from you? Therefore they were so much like, because they said, my team made this, we can also do this. So therefore team was also important. And the second thing is ignoring the innovation. Like I mentioned, they say how this can beat this one, you know, or how you can manage this and put everyone pockets with a reasonable price. So they never believe it. And the second thing is, for example, the Kodak. So Kodak was actually core competency became core rigidity. So they focused so much on this film business. They said, we are expert of this. Everyone is buying like cheese and bread. Therefore, why should I actually switch to another product? And they never made any market research, benchmarking what are the new products are coming, what can be the new things. For example, there was Polaroid in my time. So Polaroid was a big innovation, but Polaroid, you can make limited number of pictures. So when you compare to Polaroid to Nokia, to Kodak, but Kodak is also an innovative product. But they actually didn't think of this. They didn't say this thing. They said Polaroid was okay, but now we are the new king. And the other thing is, the digital photography was always starting, almost starting that time, but they were actually just following it. They were never thinking, let's make a plan, and we can also move to this digital photography era. And the transformation, so they started with the digital photography, but they thought when we use the same resources, same way of thinking, but change the product, then we can still be successful. Actually, if you are moving your direction, you should also change the way of thinking. And the other thing is unwillingness to change. Because can you imagine, like, let's say I'm a manager, I have a very successful product, then why should I take risk? Why should I go to another area which I am not so secure about it? So therefore, they were actually not willing to change. But actually, when you look at the figures, so this is, for example, the films rolls sold. So most probably they were all thinking about this in this area. So the film roll sold was increasing, but suddenly decreased. And the interesting thing is the digital camera and analog camera, because digital cameras were also in the market, but the Kodak never believed that the digital camera actually can replace the analog camera. Even they were also in the digital camera business. And then what happened? So think about, like, I am fixing myself to the analog camera. Some people are talking about digital camera. So when I am focusing on the digital camera, then suddenly comes the smartphone. So when I'm actually occupying myself with this line, then comes suddenly smartphone and everything now goes out of hand. Therefore, innovation can come to you, but you should still think about what happens in next 10 years, what happens in next 20 years. And you should never ignore the small companies, startups, and nowadays especially. So therefore, for example, when we go back this learning, they could actually missing learning. They didn't make benchmarking. They were not agile. And the transformation took very late place. And they were not willing to change. And they simply ignored the change. So therefore, do you remember at the beginning we said innovation can have many characters? So from these two examples, for example, we can create our own picture. So the same thing, like humbleness, trend, team, aware, agility, benchmarking. So actually, if you have a product or an idea, actually you can also do this thing for you. And if you have a presentation, for example, you can say, my product has this innovation character. So as I told you, like, we are working on a project. This is not my own project. I am not the owner of the company. But I myself, for example, created such thing for this project. And actually, these are the key words of my project. So one interesting thing is, we always think about change. I think anyone has this thing at home, right?
Yeah.
So then, when I was making preparing this presentation, then I said, how can I explain this? How can I explain this? It took a bit time. I asked some people. Think about, like, 1955, they started with this. 2021, they still continue with this. I am not a pen expert, but I think nothing changed. Perhaps some manufacturing methods change. And the other thing is, this was the chocolate that I love a lot. In Germany, in China, I can still find. Look at, for example, at the beginning, the package changed a lot. But in recent years, they don't change so much. So therefore, my explanation for this case is, you can also make your own explanation. I think once your product reach a cult status, that this is, since 1955, solves the problem of many people. It's a very nice product, very good product, very affordable product. Then you don't need to actually change yourself so much. But you should always aware of actually how the trend is changing. So there are many pen outside, many pen kinds outside. But if your people, if the people who liked this one still buying it, then actually you can still continue with this product. But you should always aware of next day, perhaps nobody will like this one because something better will come. Therefore, doesn't mean that you should always change, you should always bring new innovations, but you should never ignore. Because can be one day that you don't find anyone who likes this one. So now the action part. So he says like this, okay, good. There are innovation is good thing. There are lots of innovation ideas. But actually, how can I implement this thing into daily business, you know? Like I cannot tell my boss, today I need 2 hours to think about innovation. Nobody will give this time to us. But we should take an action. Otherwise, it will just stay as an idea. I'm sure everyone has many ideas. I have also many ideas. I'm every day having new ideas. But as long as I don't take an action, I will be never startup owner or I will be never entrepreneur. So this is the difference. And he says no action. He's very happy with this situation. And he says, you know, this is actually the guy, I'm sure many of them know him, Simon Sinek. So he says genius is in the idea. So idea is genius. But the impact comes, however, from the action. So as long as you don't put in an action, actually this doesn't mean anything, you know, like everyone is a brilliant idea. And so he's saying, so in this part, we will work on an example. So he wants to convince this guy. He says, don't you want to hunt with some smart effort and with less time of walking? He says it is possible. Because, you know, he never thinks about what the innovation can change in a life. So he's just thinking innovation, a nice word. Okay, we should earn money with innovation, but it's not the case actually. You can make someone's life easier. For example, these are also from the history, how you can catch fish. Perhaps not so easy to see, but you can prepare some small like a net from straw or from different materials, and then you can catch fish. So he doesn't need to use this instrument. It's not so easy. So then, this think big, act small is actually, first of all, we should think really big. We should set a goal. So for example, his goal is he's saying, think that you catch 100 fish per day. So this is a very big task. I believe myself he cannot catch 100 fish with this one. But then, first of all, we should actually think about where we find these 100 fish. Where is my innovation area? Then he should observe the best time. When is the best time to catch these 100 fish? Then he should prepare his hunting equipment. These are the tools. Then wait patiently if the idea works. You know, sometimes the innovation idea comes, but you say nobody's interested. You know, I am so ambitious, but all the faces are like this. Why they are not impressed? Perhaps this is not the time for it. Perhaps the time will come. And he should make some adjustment. We can think of, okay, my idea was not found so impressive by everyone. Perhaps I can adjust my idea. And then he can catch 100 fish per day. So although we are setting the goal very big, actually the most important thing is the action. And this action doesn't need to be so big. Like I go to bank, take the credit, buy this company and make an innovation. This is not the case. We should always think small steps. And I am sure if we have time here, half an hour, we can add here many small actions. So therefore, I think for us, the one who are believing in innovation, this action plan is the most important. So then he thinks, because you know he has chance to catch 100 fish per day with small makeable efforts. So he say, I think innovation is really a good thing, but I don't know how to act. So this is always the problem. Look, you know, okay, I should, like same thing, for example, I want to lose weight. I know how to lose weight. But if I don't put in action, then I cannot lose weight. Also, I know if I wake up very early, go outside running, eat healthy, actions. But at the end, you know, you should put in an action. You should put in a plan. Therefore, perhaps you can ask someone who has this experience, who started losing weight, didn't manage, perhaps, or who started someone losing weight and managed it. So then he is thinking step by step that the innovation is a good thing. And with this, think very big, but acting small actually can change his life. So then, there are many quotes. I don't know if you need, you can print one of them from internet and put on your desk. The big journeys begin with small steps. So don't fear moving slowly forward, fear standing still. So actually, these you can apply to your daily life and you can apply to your innovation. And this also shows actually innovation is not something that a certain group of people are dealing with. So innovation is actually in our daily life. And this think big, act small, actually you can implement to anything. So now you have, I think, enough information. So now I will give you a task. So one of the biggest duties of the innovator is actually also to promote the innovation. Because think about, for example, I went to this garden, I ate an apple, and I'm really impressed with the taste. I cannot go to the company and I can say, guys, in this garden there is an apple I ate, it is great. Actually, this is not the case. You should first explain them if they know what apple is. If, for example, have they ever seen, or how to go to this garden, how to catch this apple, how to eat it. Therefore, actually you as an innovator, you should be lighter. You should show them the, perhaps there are some dark roads, you should give them the light. And you should guide them. In this case, like go to this place, turn right, and this is the garden. The second thing is help, because this innovation journey is actually very tiring and challenging journey. So many times we are giving up. Therefore, we should always support each other, and you should also ask for support. The visionary, sometimes you have an idea that everyone loves it. This will never work. This will never work. In my life, this was many times like this. When I have an idea, this will never work. But I was not strong enough to push these ideas in my young years. But now I am thinking, actually, your idea is your idea, I have my idea. And the brave, the same example, like for example, Apple. They brought many products. And I think they were so convinced with the success and the use of the product, they will never think of, we will bankrupt. Oh my God, when nobody buys, what will happen? I think they never think about it. They were brave enough. And the challenger, you should always challenge yourself, like this mouse. Even he is not fearing of being caught, and he is using this thing as to make fitness. And the other thing is hardworking, of course. Hardworking, some of you can like writing notes, some of you perhaps like reading, some of you like talking, watching. Nowadays, reaching information is very easy, actually. Like in WeChat, I'm seeing everyone is watching the videos. And especially in WeChat, it is amazing. There are many videos about the innovation, about the coaching. And once you watch 3 videos about coaching, then the 4th video is definitely about coaching, because WeChat is understanding what your interest. Therefore, to reach the information is very easy. So if you actually identify yourself as an innovator, so these are your tasks. And now when we come to the end, I would like to do something different. We, I think, all learned how innovation is important. And this is not enough, actually. Like half an hour, 1 hour, not enough. People are dedicating their lives. And they are dedicating their lives and not managing. And there are some dedicating their lives and managing. So I would like to ask you, actually, what did you learn today? So what was most important for you? But before giving the word to you, I want to ask our skeptical guy. Let's see what he was thinking. So he said, I would like you to complete this sentence, okay? So he says, before I was attending this seminar, I hate innovation. After attending this seminar, I have learned what innovation is, and now I love it. Now I can catch many fishes in a day. So did you see, like, he was very skeptical. He was always neglecting the innovation. But now he has a goal that he could never ever imagine before attending this seminar. Now, perhaps he is just dreaming about how to catch this 100 fish.
Q&A session, because
so the last one is, last slide is, so I really want to thank you all for your time, for a question. And then, like you said, this environment is really very comfortable, like under the friends, just we are exchanging our ideas. And I will, anyone who wants to have the slides, there's nothing confidential, you can have it, okay? Yaro has it, can have it. And if you want to take the slides and then share with the other colleagues, friends, also I'm very happy. Therefore, you know, as I told you before, I think you have all have duties. And if we, I think, create more innovators and more innovation lovers, like this guy, I think world will be a much better place. So thanks for everyone's time and attention.